BK Coco. Now put back in front, Shane Wright scores!
And the final game of the NHL regular season. Victor Ostman making his first ever start in the NHL. Drives it backhand, forehand, and a glove save made by Ostman.
The Kraken's fifth season brought its fair share of memorable moments and milestones.
All season long, we brought you inside the energy, the passion, and the stories that make Seattle hockey special. Welcome to the season finale of Kraken-home-ice.
Tonight, we bring it all together, celebrating the journey, the players, and the fans who made this season one to remember. We'll look back at the highlights, the growth of the team, and what lies ahead for the Kraken.
Monday against the Kings, the fans showed up big time to cheer on the Kraken. Seattle spots the Kings 3 goals before the offense comes alive in the third. Matty Beniers with the pass to Adam Larson, and the Big Cat rips it from the point, cutting the lead to 3-1. 6 minutes later, Capo Caco feeds Freddie Gaudreau, who sends it to the back of the net. Great pass, good goal, cuts the lead to 1. The Kings answer back, making it 4-2, but then Bobby McMahon capitalizes, gets set up from Beniers, and Bobby sends it home. It was a good fight in the last 20, but the Kings go on to win it 5-3. Post-game, the Kraken and fans took time to give kudos and their appreciation to longtime LA Kings captain Anze Kopitar. After a 20-year career spent entirely in Los Angeles, Kopitar will be retiring at the end of this season. Wednesday kicked off a 2-game road trip to end the season. First, Vegas to take on the Golden Knights. The Kraken get on the board in the second period. The centering pass to Shane Wright just outside the crease, and he fires it home. That's Shane's first goal back from injury. Then a face-off with 2.5 left in the second. Shea Theodore rips one from the top of the circle. No way Nico Coco is getting that one. In the third period, Riley Smith rockets it in for the go-ahead goal. Vegas scores 4 unanswered to win it 4-1. On Thursday, the Kraken faced the Avs in the final game of the season. Scoreless in the second period with Vince Dunn roughing things up in front of the goal, Nick Blankenburg knocks one in on the doorstep for a 1-0 lead. Victor Ostman stands tall in goal for Seattle, making his first NHL start. He gets bombarded with 35 shots, and he stops all but 2 of them. The Avs get one by him in the third period. Parker Kelly scores as the Avalanche beat the Kraken in their regular season finale 2-0.
Under head coach Lane Lambert, this team took meaningful strides, but in the end, it wasn't enough, falling short of the playoffs for a 3rd straight season.
I sat down with a few of the veterans to talk about what needs to change and what it will take to get to where they want to be.
I look at the season as a whole, and I just obviously you're disappointed in the way that it finished. And you try and find things, and that in itself motivates you for next year.
A structure, not consistent, but a recipe that we know we can be successful at. I think we have that belief that if we continue to do that, we're on the right track.
We gave ourselves a chance to make playoffs. We were right there in a spot, and we just didn't capitalize on that opportunity. So, you know, there's more building to be had, you know, especially in those pressure situations where, you know, eyes are on you.
You always want to win. I don't think there's a lack of that in terms of like guys wanting, and they want to win and they want to, and we've showed it this year too. Like every time we come out, we are playing hard till the end. It sets us up for success. We just need to find a way to be more consistent.
The first, 75% of it before the break was a very big positive. There was a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of excitement, and then obviously the end we failed, and it's trying to figure out, that's the goal, is to try and figure out why we failed and then fix it and get over the hump so that we're able to continue and compete into the postseason.
There's growth there, and we know that, and so that's kind of the goal for next season, but I thought we definitely found our games at different points in the season, and I really liked that.
So changes will be made, but we failed, obviously 3 years in a row, 2 years for me, and disappointing where we're at, but I think our group understands that we have more to give, and management will, keep adding. And obviously, they've shown and has shared to everyone that they want change and they want results, and that's our goal.
There's always things that you try to improve and you try to continue growing even at an older age, but you do that so that you're a better version of yourself and your team's better.
Several players stood out this season, earning recognition with the team's end-of-season awards.
Captain Jordan Eberle was honored with both the Gal Fielder Award and the Pete Muldoon MVP Award. The MVP goes to the player voted to be most valuable to the team's on-ice success, and the Gal Fielder Award is given to the player that best exhibits the qualities of perseverance, hustle, and dedication to hockey.
The dedication one kind of means more. I obviously last year was a tough injury, and there was moments where I wasn't sure if I was going to come back. At the end of the day, once things started to roll, there wasn't really a doubt in my mind, but I wanted to get back to the play that I knew I could get to, and I thought for the most part I did. I still feel like I have another level that I can get to. Even at my age, I think the biggest thing is your foot speed and you think the game, but I'm still motivated and excited to play, and I love playing this game.
Other awards went to Matty Beniers for getting the most points on 3-star of the game votes. And Philip Grubauer was named the fan favorite.
Huge honor, right? Like without the fans, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't be playing this sport. And in Seattle, the fans are incredible.
More to come on kraken-home-ice. We're sitting down for a final time this season with head coach Lane Lambert. He shares where he has seen the most improvement and talks team culture. Plus, the younger guys share how they've grown as individuals and players this season.
Now at the end of the year, I think it's just consistency. 82 games, being good every single one of those is a difference maker.
Lehkonen feeds Cale Makar. That wrist shot deflected in front on the doorstep.
The save of the week goes to Victor Ostman, who had his first NHL start against the Avs. His family made the trip all the way from Stockholm to be there for the milestone. It was a season defined by firsts, especially for the rookies and younger players stepping into bigger roles. I caught up with them to talk about their growth, the lessons they've learned, and how those experiences are shaping what comes next.
I think that's definitely one of the biggest things I've noticed is just how consistent you have to be each and every day.
From making their first opening night roster to completing their first full NHL season, both Berkeley Catton and Ryan Winterton learned a lot along the way.
Honestly, just how much of a grind it is to play 82 games. Coming to the rink and being ready every day. Whether it's practice or games. It's a grind, but you got to show up every day and be ready to go.
Having a full NHL season under my belt, next year will be a little bit easier, and through the tough times I learned how to kind of balance that, and through the good times I also learned how to balance that.
With those lessons came growth.
I think I found confidence throughout the year and got lots of chances, more puck touches. I think, from day one to now, I've grown a lot as a player.
They leaned on their teammates, especially in the tough moments off the ice. At the end of March, Ryan lost his brother Jacob to a battle with cancer.
The guys were unbelievable. I went through a lot this year, and just everyone being there for me and at different times of the year and just making sure that I was all right.
They got through it all together. Now they're going into the offseason with a new perspective and new goals.
I feel like my defensive side's been, good. Obviously has room to grow as well, but just the offensive side and reading plays and, making, some different looks.
Goal scoring, I think, whether that was, needing to work on my shot a bit or, just finding confidence in those areas. So that'll be a big thing, and then getting stronger and finding strength.
Kraken CEO Todd Leiweke said Lane Lambert coached his butt off. We sat down with the coach and asked him to reflect on the season.
I thought up until the break we played well. From the break on, that's where we feel like we didn't accomplish what we needed to accomplish. But certainly, I think there's some improvements in the second half of the season. Individual players, Ryan Winterton, Berkeley Catton. Prior to Shane Wright getting hurt in Buffalo, I thought his game was getting better and better. And when I say with him, I talk about his 200-foot game. Offensive play, defensive play, and just an understanding of, winning hockey.
We've talked before where you want your players to play both ends and the 200 feet that you're talking about. Is that where you saw an improvement where is it a more of a mindset and a mental approach to the game that these players have to make that adjustment to their personal games?
It's about the team as opposed to being, just about individual hockey. And that's the culture we're trying to create here. Team first mentality, and I think that, we have a lot of players and a lot of young players, Matty Beniers, these guys that really took that to heart, our older players as well. So establishing that culture, I thought our 5-on-5 play this year, we cut down our goals against dramatically, so there's certainly improvements in a lot of areas for us.
Was there something, a cultural shift that maybe you noticed at some point in the season where you're like, wow, I think they finally have this part of what we're trying to do here?
I thought early on we started the season well, and then we had that stretch in December where we lost, I think, 9 out of 10. What I think one of the things that I was proud of our guys this year in that situation was our resilience, and we found our way out of it. And then we went on a pretty good run.
Neverly cashes in!
So for me, if you look back on the season and the disappointing ending that we had of the season, if you look back and you analyze the whole thing as a whole, you can see a lot of positives, and we have to focus on those as well as learning from the ending and the failures at the end.
There are a lot of guys that play professional sports that love just to go to work and don't want limelight and just want to put in the work. And as a coach, I would imagine you appreciate someone like that. Is there one or two guys on this team that kind of represent that?
Josh Mahura, Cale Fleury this year, they were 7-8 defensemen kind of thing, and each of them played in the neighborhood of 20 games. And that's a lot of practice and a lot of extra skating when you're not in those games. Just in particular, those two really stand out to me because they showed up at the rink every day with a smile on their face, ready to work, even though there was disappointment that they maybe weren't in the lineup, certainly not as much as they wanted to be. Those two guys really stand out for me. It takes a special person, a special professional to show up at the rink when you're being scratched, game in and game out, and continue to work.
All right, Coach, now the season's over, what's the first thing you want to do besides golf?
Well, we've got a lot of work to do, with our hockey team, and obviously we'll have a lot of meetings. And
all right, I'm going to stop you right there. This is not about business. This is about you personally. What would it be for Lane Lambert, the one thing relaxing that you would like to do?
Well, okay, the one thing relaxing, golf for me is relaxing, so that would be the first thing. But the other thing is, in this industry and in professional sports, your family sacrifices a lot, and they don't see you very much. And so just spend time with my wife, see my kids as much as I possibly can, considering they're spread all over the country, and make them understand how appreciative I am of their time that they are spending away from me.
Being able to sit down with you once a week throughout the season has been awesome. Looking forward to much more in the coming future.
Yeah, thank you very much, Paul. Appreciate it.
Ahead on Kraken Home Ice, analyst and broadcaster Allison Lucan recaps the season. She shares what she liked from this team and what the Kraken fans mean to her. In our last shootout of the season, the players talk reality TV, and there's a theme when it comes to their favorites.
The Kraken did what they needed to do to get this win, and I thought they looked much improved.
Kraken broadcaster Allison Lucan has been covering the team closely all season. I asked her where she's seen the most improvement.
I think with the hiring of Coach Lane Lambert, you saw a real evolution in the culture and accountability. The team became really sound defensively, and I thought that became part of their identity and fed the way the entire team played.
With the progress this team has made, there's still more areas to improve.
I think for this group, it's details and consistency. Details is about managing the puck and being really dialed in and never taking a shift off, and that speaks to the consistency. For me, it's a full 60-minute effort every game, and then also game to game. As the games became higher and higher stakes after the Olympic break, this group needed to put in more to really meet the challenges of the moment, and so it's consistently playing Kraken hockey, game over game over game.
The team has struggled offensively, needing more shots and more scoring. They've made some changes and will continue to do so to increase their point totals.
The way this team is built to play right now is obviously defense to offense. So that's where those details and consistency are key. And then I think you're going to see the organization look at where they can improve in terms of this roster. You saw them go and get Bobby McMahon at the trade deadline, and he was able to add another scoring threat. So it's about improving this roster, talent developing from within, and again, a more of a shoot-first mindset.
When it comes to a player who surprised Allison this season, there's a forward that stands out.
I think the player that comes to mind is Ryan Winterton.
Shot score! Ryan Winterton got it!
He makes the team out of camp. We'd only seen him in little pockets of play here and there, and his game really matured in front of us this year. We saw him fulfill a role, really be an important part of playing with speed and playing on an identity line that was that fourth line. And then when you come to learn his personal story off the ice, to do what he did for this group with all he was managing really speaks to the character of this individual.
And as far as the fans, there's many memorable moments.
Anytime a young girl comes up and says, I want to do what you do, and I'm able to tell her that she can, is just awesome. I think this organization in total has been so amazing at showing people who don't look like those who used to be predominantly in hockey that they belong, is one of our greatest accomplishments yet.
One of my favorite segments of the show is the shootout. Every week we learn more and more about these players, from their movie preferences to their favorite food to their game day habits.
It is a great segment, a lot of fun. And for our final shootout of the season, we asked the players, if they were reality TV stars, which show would they like to be on?
I don't really watch reality TV. Maybe Survivor. Ooh. Survivor?
Survivor, just because I love it. I've watched a bunch of them, and I think it'd be fun. I think I'd do somewhat well. I think I'd be fine in the challenges, and I think I'd have a solid social game.
100% I'd go on Survivor. I would think I would survive like a while, but realistically I'd probably last like 2 days. Just being real.
Survivor. Mainly because it's one of the only ones that I actually watch, but I feel like I could do well out there. I would definitely have some things to work on. I'm not the best liar, so I would need to work on that a little bit.
Love that show. Alone, get sent to Alaska or somewhere in the wilderness, and you have to try and build your own shelter and hunt. I would love to do that and trying to survive out in the country. That would be awesome.
I was gonna say Naked and Afraid. You know, that's a crazy one. I don't know if I'd really want to do this, but something in the wild or something that'd be fun but scary, but fun, you know.
Climate Pledge Arena has built a reputation as one of the toughest places for opponents to step into, powered by the Kraken fan base. Next on Kraken-home-ice, what that support means to the team.
You can't thank them enough, and just, you know, you just want to win for them.
Monday's final home game was a celebration of the fans. The concourse of Climate Pledge Arena had all kinds of pregame activities, from caricatures to face painting to different hockey-related games. Fans were also able to go home with a specialty cooler backpack. It was the team's way of saying thank you for all the dedication and support all season long.
Climate Pledge Arena is known for providing one of the toughest environments for opponents to play in, and that's in large part to the fans.
I asked the players about what those fans mean to them.
Fans are awesome. I've said that from day one. It's a fun place to play Climate Pledge when it's loud and they're into the game, and it makes it enjoyable. And not just that, but I mean throughout the city and seeing Kraken gear, and I think as we win and we get into the playoffs, it'll just grow.
It's one of the better places to play in my opinion. Other players in the league notice it when they play us. The buildings are busy, and it's a fun environment to play in. So the quicker we can start winning more hockey games, the better, you know, everyone will be.
I came from a place where the fan base was unreal in Boston, just growing up there, and this place absolutely replicates that, if not better. You know, especially us being a team that, you know, wasn't top of the division all the time, you know, maybe weren't winning all the games that we should have been, and every night the fans were there, they were loud, they made the game exciting, so it's an unbelievable experience being on the ice with the full, you know, full building. So you can't thank them enough, and just, you just want to win for them. You want to win and you want to do well. You want to make playoffs and give them that, because they're there, when it's good and when it's bad.
But they mean the whole world to us as a team and individuals.
It's pretty special when you come out to the climb-up edge every game, and I think we owe it to our fans to come out better and make a playoff push next year. I think we'll do that.
In those games where tight games going into the third period, I think lots of those games we came out on top were because they, pushed us over the top, and each and every night, even those the last couple where we were out, just how energetic and ready to go they were. Best in the NHL from what I've seen.
The Kraken fans are loyal. They very positive. The rink was full every single day, no matter what, and that means a lot. That feels awesome for us as players. We don't take it for granted again. It was a very special atmosphere and time to play into.
Oh, I love the Kraken fans. I feel like they've always been super supportive, whether the team's been doing great or not so great. They always showed up and had their support. You always see I hope, blank person has fun, and I truly believe the fans do want us to have fun and succeed. And it makes it that much easier for us to try our hardest out there for them.
Those players would like nothing more than to be getting ready for the playoffs.
Unfortunately, their season is over, but not before bringing their fans a lot of great moments. For Brianna Vasquez, I'm Paul Sylvie. Thank you for joining us all season long.
The energy is back. Season number 5.
The new head coach, Lane Lambert.
Winterton for his first NHL goal. He scores! There it is! Canton shot. He scores! Berkeley Canton has his first goal in the National Hockey League.
What a milestone for Adam Larson, hitting that 1,000 game mark.
Bobby McMahon will make his Kraken debut.
And score! Nikkei Kokos, his first win in the National Hockey League.